Hello, yes, it is the person who appeared in the voice assistant's video in the Premium. So dear Mira, you might remember me as the drunk assistant, but no, I'm not drunk. I'm here to present you the early era videos, the one that started the Flamafam Studios tsunami of videos. Liam personally hates those videos, despite them shaping his channel. In this collection there are some exceptions. Firstly, the Flamafam Pluses aren't included. Neither is the Dear Ministry of Retro Gaming video or the Flamafam Studios Trailer for Dummies video. If we've missed out any others, let us know. Not me, as I'm just a assistant. So now just fuck off and watch the complication with your 2DS and let this begin.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios and welcome to Nostalgic Opinions, the series which hopefully could be able to survive as long as the channel does. This, for those of you who don't know because you're too lazy to look at the title, this is going to be mostly about the NES launch titles, which 33 years ago on this day, according to filming and the date when it would be uploaded, as the American launch day for the NES 33 years ago on 18th of October 1985. There isn't really much I have to say, it's just 17 games, but we're all going to be looking at them separately, but all in just two parts, because as some of you know, the 2DS is crap at filming. But let's just go to see it. So as I take you up to 10-yard fight, it's basically just American football in case some of you don't know. It says enjoy realistic grid and action as you move your team up and down the field to victory. Not going to be saying the whole of it, but in case you didn't hear me, it's just simple American football. Next we've got Duck Hunt. Now this is the first big one we are going to look at, because some of you know Duck Hunt as a game which utilized hugely only around the Zapper. Some of you might as well remember for that dog which would appear in Super Smash Bros. Just to say, it is a no-right game, but it's I don't really get the point of it being so popular. It appears in Smash Bros. Like, a game as big as that shouldn't really have the Duck Hunt duel in it. Next we've got baseball, and it's basically how the name implies. It's just simple fucking baseball. I'm not going to be saying about the whole of it, but as you can see, it's just baseball. It even says in the title. You might be known, you should know that's mostly just sports titles. And in case yet you haven't known, we're only going to be covering the first party launch titles, not the third party ones that I think probably appeared from the same day as the other titles as well. Next we've got Excite Bike. It's pretty well known, and even appeared in a 3DS sound thing application. It's where you're on a bike and you have to basically complete a course. That's literally it. Yes, there was this save feature, but for the Europeans and Americans, we just didn't get that. For the Japanese viewers, lucky you. Next we have got Clue Land, almost forgotten game, but it deserves to be forgotten. I'm not going to be going over the whole of it because I haven't even heard of that game. If you happen to have a copy, you should probably let me know on Twitter so I could be able to hopefully put in an update that'll be on the description. Next we've got golf. Again, just simple golf. Nothing that special. They'll later have an NES Open. This was just a revamped version of it, just way more better. Next is part of a series of lineups that I think will always strike huge with me. Not so if you could be able to see, I'll lift it up just to show you. It's Gyromite, a game part of the Robot series that utilizes around Player 1 and Rob. They called the world's first robotic operating buddy, but there was only really one, unless if you count the Smash, the Rob, and the couple of other Robs that happen to be in the next couple of games that appear over the next few years and probably even decades. Next is the second one of the only 2 games that appeared in the Robot series. It is Stack Up. Now I'm not going to be going over it since you've probably watched the AVGN episode about Rob. He mostly went over it. There's nothing much to say about it. It's mostly about you're giving instructions to Rob. Here we have Hogan's Alley, and it's mostly just an FBI game. I know you can't really see it, but it's just about using the zapper. Now here comes the last game that we'll be covering in this. Super Mario Bros. Also the first game that inspires the hugely popular... I don't need to finish that sentence, it's just... you already know who Mario is. And it's basically just... if you're too young to know, it's New Super Mario Bros. But 8-bit. That's the only game I have played from the NES. Unless if we count Super Mario Bros. 2, but apart from that, it's just really the only game I've played from the 8-bit wonder. It's just, if you know what I'm talking about, you don't really need me to say about it. And we'll cover the other 7 games later, probably in the video that'll come out tomorrow. And yeah, that's basically it. This is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and I'm out of here. Why the hell did I have to copy G? Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to the second part of the NES launch library episode. This will still count as the second episode of Nostalgic Opinions, but I think this time we should get right to it. Sorry, I think this belongs in the wrong series. Hey, if someone could make a joke about it, we could do that as well. Now let's just get right into the second part. Wrong one. Definitely wrong. Yep, this is it. So first we've got Ice Climber. Now I do have to admit, I've got a lot of things to say about the series. I get how widely popular it is, but I don't really get it. It's just basically you climbing up a stage right up to the summit. And yes, they are popular in Smash Bros, but even this involvement in Smash Bros to me is a mystery. Why would you have a summit stage in Smash Bros where if the summit falls right down to the river in real life, it would mean that you'd die? And that my problems doesn't start there. How come this would How come the ice climbers would be able to have such a huge spawn smash bros that they would be hugely ravaged? I just don't get it. We need to move on from that. Next, we've got tennis. I had to move it just so you could see. Again, just like the other sports titles, it's just simple tennis. They'll later have Mario Tennis for, I think, the GameCube or whatever. Game Boy Color. I don't really have much to say about that, apart from the fact that it says state-of-the-art graphics and realistic gameplay. Seriously, they must have been on drugs, but I do admit it was the best they had. So yeah, that's a huge problem with that, but apart from that, it's just simple tennis. Next, we've got Kung Fu. It says, not like it's a real selfie, instead face off against enemies like the giant and snake and even a dragon. And this game, it isn't really that as fun as international karate, but hey, it's just Kung Fu on the NES. Okay. Next we'll have Wild Gunman, another game utilizing around Zapper, and it's just basically a shootout. And it's an alright game, except it'll be used in the final smash of Duck Hunt Duel, which is a problem, but hey, they could do whatever they want with it. Next they've got Pinball. It's not like Pinball, it's just involves old Mario, you know, Mario from the Mario Bros. According to the Nintendo Power Art. It's probably harder to control. I've never played it, and of course, for nostalgic opinions, we're not going to be showing any footage because it's just me voicing up blind opinions. Yeah, and that's really just it. Next, we've got Wrecking Crew. It's just where you blow up buildings. You know, NES game. It's just basically one of those flash games. And next, soccer. You've got to be fast on your feet to keep up with Nintendo Soccer. Yeah, I've already caught up with FIFA. But I don't really get it. It's just, if you think about it, it's just where they say you'll be kicking yourself. Now, imagine that door is me. I don't have it, so I might as well just be kicking myself already. I know there are probably some third-party games that I haven't covered, or some other ones that they did not include, but that's probably as far as we could get. And I know from that ending, it's I've still been debating about that. I might as well do it again. This is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and I'm out here. Hi, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to the third episode of Nostalgic Opinions. And yes, I have my own drawing of Sonic. Obviously, it's classic Sonic, not the stupid modern Sonic or the Sonic from the Dreamcast games. But obviously, this isn't the reason why you're here. We're not going to spend 10 minutes talking about that drawing which I made. It's just there, just so that it's, you know what the subject is. This is mostly about Sega, mainly about 3 divisions that make up them: Sega of Europe, Sega of America, and Sega of Japan. So I think it's time we should start talking about them. First we have Sega of Japan. They never really hear that much from them. The only big thing about them was that they managed to make the Saturn, a huge flop in Europe and the US, a success there in Japan. Mostly, I think probably because of the Sega Sancio commercials. Just my opinion, but like, they never really, you never really that much found them. Like, yes, you've got them in Japan where the trophy has a lot, but just don't really hear that much. But that's just my opinion, so what do I have to say about that? Next we have Sega of America, which again they don't really say that much, but they were huge back in the classic Sega days, which leads to my rant of the episode about modern Sega. Yet back in 2001, you probably all know this, but that was the year from when Sega discontinued the Dreamcast and quit making consoles altogether. That was huge news here, as well as the world for us gamers. But like that, I kind of lost the words to say. But right now you've got modern Sega. It's a total bitches from when you here. They just mostly don't do much. You have 2 Point Hospital, and not forget about the exceptionally good Sonic Mania, which I didn't really like Sonic Forces, but just one problem. They're making fucking games for the old rivals, especially Nintendo. The Switch, you've probably heard me say about this a lot, but I hate the Nintendo Switch. It's one of the main reasons why I don't really like Nintendo. But again, I lost words to say. We always keep going off object here. What the fuck was? But Sega back then, huge legendary company. Now total shit bastards. You'll probably hear me say about this for years to come. Maybe not call them shit bastards, but I think now we should probably move on to the division which probably makes up most of modern Sega. Sega of Europe. Now, that kind of a huge disappointment. To be honest, they did, I think I heard they were doing the E3 conference back from E3 2018. That was kind of debatable, especially about that thing I said. But I think they're probably taking too much responsibility. That's the main problem. Nintendo of Europe, they don't really have that much responsibility. Xbox UK, again, not much. PlayStation of Europe, not really that well. So what do I have as my opinion on Sega as a whole? This is probably the last part of the episode, but you've got some huge Sega fans like Mass Gaming UK, which for some reason blocked me, but and many others. But to be honest, the Sega fanbase is almost falling apart in my opinion, and I'm speaking for myself as a Sega fan. You don't really have much people supporting Sega right now. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because Sega currently right now sucks. Yes, that's the first time I say it. But they just don't have the same aggressiveness as back then. They definitely don't make consoles, which is a huge down, especially from when they had such classics such as Sonic, which hugely sucks. And not to forget about, if I could be able to get this right, if I probably said more for the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was a great console, but failed. It didn't deserve to fail. It had everything it needed. Then Sony comes bossing them with the PS2, kills them off. Then that's the end of Sega. Or at least the Sega enough. this is now resulting in the end of a huge, not really huge, but I think 7 minutes. Sorry for the bad quality, I forgot to say that from the last couple of videos I did. But like, yeah, it's kind of a huge problem. It's dark, which is a huge shame. But like, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Be sort of, if you want to leave a like, you could leave a dislike, but only if you don't like the drawing I did. Getting too far ahead of myself, am I? And if you want, you could leave a reply. I'll try my best to reply to them all. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Maybe subscribe, maybe not. And I'll see you in the next video. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios. And you might be wondering why we starting off like this. It was mostly just so that I've kind of changed the settings to a more VHS-like style. But now I think it's time to get to the actual thing why we want to be on this Nintendo. You already know by the title. I'm not going to be saying it because this film got ruined 3 fucking times in a row. And from a 2DS you can't edit out the parts. Sad, isn't it? I know. Alright, first this time we get to Nintendo of America. You might remember them for the likes of Reggie Fils-Aimé and Beltrinian. But apart from that, there isn't really much. They do host E3, that's for sure, but they mostly do the pre-recorded digital events, Nintendo Spotlights, and a Nintendo Direct for this year. Kind of a bit rough, isn't it? I know. Alright, next we have Nintendo of Japan. Now, you again, like Sega of Europe, they were huge back then. But like for Nintendo, it's mostly for the likes of Iwata and Miyamoto. Miyamoto hasn't left. He's still with the company, especially after 35 long years. And Iwata passed away. Well, silence. But apart from that, was more. They don't really do that much. So, yeah, now time to go to Sega. No, not Sega. Where am I getting on? Nintendo of Europe. Now, back, you probably remember them for the likes of, for that huge meme, March 4th, 2016. So, yes, I still kept alive, especially for me. And, yes, probably just that. Not really that much. And now time for the rant of the day, and because I'm tired, sorry that it is only 2 minutes 48 seconds so far. Everyone, you should know about me that I'm a huge critic of Nintendo. Yes, you might say that it's all just because of boring old Miiverse. First of all, if you actually think that, and I mean like the whole of it, you fuck you, because Miiverse was great. Number 2, from myself, a former Nintendo supporter, I know how it is. And I'm not sure what to say, but I especially don't like the Switch. People might be saying, well, you can't say anything, you've never played the goddamn thing. You better get your facts right, I actually did. And I also don't like Super Nintendo, as also I did play. So I do have evidence to show I don't really like the Switch because of the fact that it steals most of its games from the Wii U. It was stolen for the 3DS, killed off Miiverse, and basically ruins the main purpose of video games. And for the Super Nintendo, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Or here be known as Mega Drive does what Nintendo don't, despite the fact that the goddamn commercial wasn't even aired here. Get another moment of silence. This time for the fact that us Sega fans don't have much. Man, I should really stop copying Pixels Limited, should I? No, I'm not meaning from the videos. I don't want like that, more like from the huge spots of stuff that technically makes it cringy. If you're watching this, I apologize if you're offended, but I just wanted to. But like, now the overall opinion. Nintendo is great, but they suck most of the time. I can't really say that they suck thoroughly. Of course I won't say that there are many great consoles such as the Game Boy and the Nintendo Entertainment System, or if you live in the UK, for something which I don't want to go by, the NES. Oh fuck, I think I actually got some spit on my microphone. Fuck. So, what's my one-worded opinion on Nintendo and Sega now? Sucky. But that's just my opinion. Pop the nostalgic opinions. This is the 4th episode. We've already got more we've already reached the same number of videos as Pixels Limited. And I would see you in the next video. Well, hello, this is Liam from Flavor Studios, and yep, this is what we're talking about. The Sony PlayStation. I would love to hold it, but unfortunately this thing has hurt my arm. Just put it back. And yeah, time to talk about the uprising of the PlayStation revolution. It all started back in the 16-bit era, from when Nintendo hoping to overcome the Sega Mega Drive, or as you know in America, the Sega Genesis. Sorry for my long pauses, I'm kind of out of breath. So yeah, they were hoping to overcome that Sega's competitor, which back then was kind of beating the Nintendo and the sales. They were hoping to, if I could be able to say it, overcome them with an add-on that would make the Sega CD or the Mega CD look a lot like Teletubbies. So they did a deal with Sony, to, you know, the company that does the Trinitron TVs, to create a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. It only got as far as the Super Famicom, but even by then it wasn't released. That was because there was a huge breakdown from the deal, when Sony must find out that they were also working with their competitor, which was Philips. and they weren't happy. So they quit the deal, and while they were about to plan on quitting doing video games, or even mentioning about it, then suddenly the idea of this strange but wonderful console came up. I'm holding it the wrong way. There. And when they had to overcome Sega, the company, one of the sides which was kicking balls with the Saturn, and they were about to release it in America on a date that would be dubbed as Saturn Day, because it was our Saturday. They should realize that there's such a thing called bad puns. I don't really know if that's a pun, but they definitely screwed it up with the one on the Switch, but that's getting way off topic. Probably start a rant about it on Twitter. But now let's just get to the moment everyone remembers. E3 1995. Normally known as the first E3 to be held, but also known for the time when they ended up managing to unleash one of the greatest ever one-liners of all time. And I'm not going to be saying it because they'll just break the rules of this. But anyway, I meant I will not be showing that clip. It was $3.99, and there was some and not only did that kind of screw Sega over with the overpriced machine that didn't really survive well in America, but still managed to completely dominate Japan for some reason. This kind of made Sega nervous. They already lost with the Saturn. This was 1998. So the answer, you guessed it, the Dreamcast. A console which I would love, and I still love to this day. Only problem, it got totally destroyed by the PlayStation 2. At first it wasn't a failure, pretty good sales, but the Sony managed to completely annihilate them with the PS2, being able to tell many other potential Dreamcast buyers to just wait a few months. There was a lot like it was just a few months for the PlayStation 2. What did they manage to get? 152 sales, and yes, I'm talking about the PlayStation 2. A console which didn't really have much a strong library at launch. Like, there were some good games like Gran Turismo, I know that, despite the fact that Gran Turismo debuted on the PS1. They didn't really strike it that well, but thanks to the DVD compatibility and Sony's money, they ended up forcing Sega into a moment which I would call crapism. And that resulted in the horrible modern Sega. But was it went for PlayStation? And that was, but like when the PlayStation 3 came around, it was totally ruined. Not totally ruined, but you get what I mean. Like, they just weren't able to kind of do it well with the PS3, and Nintendo managed to overcome them with the Nintendo Wii. So, and that was basically the end of the PlayStation revolution. I won't be ending it here because it seems as if they're coming back with the PS4, which has been out for a few years, and they have already managed to bring back the PlayStation with the PlayStation Classic. It's a whole lot more smaller than this. Should come out on December, but I'm not going to be advertising it because that'll just make me look a lot like some spoiled brat. And that's basically it. What turned out as a failed deal between Sony and Nintendo later evolved into one of the biggest gaming giants of all time. And that is it, the end. I hope you subscribe. You don't have to, but I would pretty much recommend that you do, because that would mean more nostalgic opinions, and plus if you want, you could follow on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, written lock. Yes, that is what. Yes, that is what you would call Scottish. That was a very bad impression, but thanks to my stupid English accent. Sorry, English people. And boom. If you want, you could like this video if you liked it. If you disliked it, you could please dislike if you want to. I'm not saying that you should, because that'll just be like total bollocks on. And I just hope that this channel doesn't go the way of Sega and ends up evolving into Modern Flamefam Studios. Oh, that is. Peace! Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to Afterthoughts. This series will mostly replicate around the Nintendo Directs and Inside Xbox episodes, and I'll be doing my thoughts on them. So now I'll escalate into live reactions, and this video will replicate around today's Smash Bros Direct, and you know what the name is? Piranha Plants, Robs, and those light thingies. That's, yeah, you didn't really need me to say that, but had to. So there was a lot of stuff really introduced. First we had the final two Smash characters announced. Incineroar, and some of you should know, is one of the final evolutions of the from the Pokemon Sun and Moon starters, and Ken. He is Ryu's rival from Street Fighter. Apart from that, wasn't really that much. Unless if you watched the whole of it, which I bet you did, there was spirits. And just to say this, how Emirates is now my most favourite character who I don't know about. Yeah, he uses a warp. And yeah, that's literally just mostly the thing that interested me. Is and like then there was the fast forward again, and but not to the part where Sakurai wrestles. He had a break. I can respect him for that. Even I would need a break. Pixels Limited has not bet nostalgic opinions from number of episodes. Now back to assist trophies, and there were a lot of interesting ones. There was Akira from the Virtual Fighter series, and Giant. There was also Spring Man from ARMS, and I think there was also the Octolings. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you go back, sorry for going back. It's kind of like kind of losing track. You could realize they could actually manage to train them, and it's nothing really special. It's just apart from the characters, there's, if I am correct, there was, if I could, Captain Keiko from Splatoon 2, Salmon 1, thing that my friend, that one of my friends is obsessed with, and no, it isn't, no, it isn't that. Sorry for my confusedness, you might as well just call me Bastard on Twitter. If you do that, thank you. And then is the next thing which got mentioned, Piranha Plant. I don't know why it ended up being used as some sort of downloadable no, it was a limited edition offer, but just why? Why would you need Piranha Plant? Like, come on, you don't really think much of it until you realize that's based off the Venus flytraps. That's the only thing you should think about from that. And from when you think of Piranha Plant, there's nothing much to it. It's a lot like thinking about T-Series in a world of gamers. And trust me, T-Series, I'm not liking them. Yeah, I'm saying this on YouTube. Now back onto the topic, and then you'll realize they're bringing back story mode. Sort of. And yes, when I say story mode, I'm not talking about just some stupid cutscene that they use for Smash 4. Yes, this was kind of a huge disappointment, but Adventure Series, World of Light. They must really love drugs, do they? Just, I don't really know why. Why would you need drugs? But it's just them. They could do whatever they want. I could be able to piss on the street if I want to. Not saying I am. But and then that was literally just about it. That was so sad for as well. There's this trophies, Tails and Knuckles as the spirits. Yes, but I would still give it a 10 out of 10. Not because I love Directs, yes, I think the Nintendo Directs can be awful sometimes, but more on the next Direct. This is the last one for Smash Ultimate before the game comes out. I know this won't be the last. They'll do some for the downloadable content. Man, we should really start seeing more of Sakurai's face though. He reminds me of Spag. This is Liam from Flame Studios, and do you hate shopping? And like, this is literally the biggest cliche in real life that is overlooked by everyone except your nagging mother. And just recently Sega, or modern Sega, because that's what I prefer to call them if you're talking about their accents now, they were doing they managed to open a shop called the Sega Shop online. So you're not going to find it down the street, and they just kind of left us to do what we wanted to do. People, right, Mass Gaming UK did manage to do a video about it, but the problem was he was just too nice. And if you would ask me, it's kind of Right, me, I'm not much going to like Sega in almost every single way possible, but that's not going to be the rant of the day. But later on, I don't want to waste it on just whatever you want to call it, criticizing modern Sega. But like, I think we should probably just review some of the stuff that was on it. And as we do that, let's get started. So, number one is the Sonic Toaster. We don't need any explanation about it, just like it went viral over Twitter, and what does it do? It just leaves a big fat Sonic mark right in the middle of your bread. That's the end of it, and no, we are not done with this video. That this is the end line was just supposed to be a joke. So, what's up next? Well, I do think there are some Jet Set Radio shirts, but apart from that, they're mostly just shirts, and I just realized I forgot about my slap of the card for the Sonic Toaster. You get if you get 5 snaps of the card, it's excellent. If it's 0, it's very shit. If you heard that, that's 3 slaps, and that means it's just alright. Just that. Right, if you want to leave a big fat mark in the middle of your toast, this is for you. I recommend that you don't do that because you wouldn't really want burnt marks on your toast. So, what about the Jet Set Radio shirts? They're basically just shirts. What can I say? Just one slap means it's not needed. The third thing is about the games. But we are not going on to that, that's for another day. So, what do? We decide to just talk about something which I don't think is being sold on the Sega shop, but it's one of the cable guys. It's Sonic the Hedgehog Hog. And I mean it, but this is just classic Sonic, and I actually do have another. I don't own it, but the fact that they chose over the stupid modern Sonic is something that I kind of do love. So how many slaps does it get? Excellent. 5 slaps and an extra one because it's fucking classic Sonic. And an extra one because it's basically a charging station. And an extra one because it could literally charge anything you own as long as it's basically the 21st century. And another one for, we should just stop ruining the competition. So, do you have? Well, I think that should probably be it. What about the Sega shop overall? Well, if you just wanted to waste your money just getting modern Sega merchandise, this is for you. If you, like me, hate modern Sega, think they're a total dingbats dimwit compared to classic Sega, if you hate the insides, and most of all if you think Mass Gaming UK is alright, like me, then this kind of isn't for you. So how much does it get for me? I've heard that basically means 1 3/4. Yep, it's pretty bad. And yeah, that's literally just about it. If you want, you could subscribe. You don't have to. You could leave a like, or you could dislike if you hated my voice. And also, if you hated that thing up there, it's not going to kill me. Don't worry. It's only going to take your children and probably put them in the right hole. But I wonder when that will go away. But you could leave, you could probably comment. Don't worry, I'll try to respond to all of them, or at least I'll like them, or dislike them, or pretty much point it out with a love heart. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you later. Oh my good fucking... Hi, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and yep, it's kind of going a bit worse. So far that thing is kind of going to destroy the room very soon, and I think now it's time I should probably say about the YouTube channels I watch right now. Or at least ever since the last month. So, if you think that you kind of like one of them, prepare yourself. Because not all of those reviews, well, kind of show them as good. There are some that are kind of alright. But let's just get into it. First we have a big one, Pixels Limited. Right, Samuel Victor, who does the show, he managed to appear as one of the characters from Rogue One, a Star Wars story. If you haven't watched that film, you're kind of a bit messed up. Like, it is exceptionally good. But this channel isn't about films. So, how is he like? He mostly does the same stuff as me. He's basically Scott the Wars, who I'll mention later. And if you think about it, he's basically just Scott the Wars, just with more CGI and a lot more not more CGI, way more editing and a whole damn lot of, cringiness. So, right, fine, right, this is nostalgia at its best. If you wanted to be brought back to the 80s, if you were born at that time, I'm not, then he's for you. If you're not like that, he's still for you. He is exceptionally funny. He has a lot of great guests. Even for a channel it only has like 3 videos. If you think about it, my channel has like 6, I think, or 7. He's still actually going pretty strong. So, the slaps of the card have been messed up, but best of the best. Thanks. Why the hell am I saying thanks? But next we have Scott the Wars. Basically just Pixels Limited, but this time he actually does have a lot of videos at hand. He once reviewed Music. I love that game controllers video, and yeah, he's basically just Pixels Limited with less editing and a whole lot more videos. So, 4.5. Yep, I'm correct when I say that. So, what do we go from here? You might as well go to someone who I've been looking at, who I've been watching for 1 year, and 1 year is kind of a huge achievement for this guy, as most of the YouTubers I watched 1 year ago I no longer watch anymore. It's TyranitarTube. He mostly represents the classic me. Not like he does a lot of Pokemon videos, but that's not the only thing he does. He's probably the funniest YouTuber that's going to be on this list, and he's like one of the greatest YouTubers you could come across. So, snaps of the card. And the next one for the achievement, 6 out of 5. Yeah. And next, which mode will just go home? You're not getting any slaps. Next we have Mads Gaming UK. You should be able to see where we're going from here. 3 slaps. I don't really want to get into the details because you've probably heard of him if you've been with this channel for a long time. And yeah. And now, let's go a bit more closer. This time we have Afghan TV drama. Yep, I am not kidding when I say this. This YouTuber, or set of YouTubers, as it's basically 2 people, they mostly do pastoral dramas, and like they also do hacking videos, and basically it's mostly just that. Like, I would refer to them as one of my partners, as they kind of, as one of them who goes to the same school as me. Wow. Like, he kind of forgot what, like, he mostly does kind of helps me a lot with the videos. So, slaps of the card. 4 snaps of the card. Good. Almost got the 5, but you know. And next, and for last but not least, if I could be able to, we have Catikaris, and I was thinking of putting Cinemasker, but my review of that channel would have probably made you as a whole probably mad, so I decided just to kind of step away from that. And yep, Solar Eyes is kind of a bit funky. Yes. Like, Catikaris does game reviews and some pretty funny episodes. Like I was introduced to him from when YouTube recommended I watch his Peppa Pig episode. Kind of didn't watch him at first, but then I watched greatest thing I ever saw. Just that exact video also managed to become my video of the year in 2017. Which was supposed to be the year from when this channel was opened, but it would have been with a much more worse name, and you know the rest. So, slaps of the card, and an extra one for video of the year, and an extra one for being British. No, I'm probably shouldn't do that. And yeah, that's basically it. If you want, you could subscribe. If you want, I would recommend it, but wouldn't really work well. And you could leave a like or leave a dislike if you kind of wanted to hear me say about Cinemasker. And you could leave a reply if you want, and just if you want. Not saying they should. And extra news, my 2D stylus is Hi, this is Liam and welcome to the worst channel you could ever find on YouTube. Yeah, that's basically what someone who doesn't even have a channel I could even find has said. So, what do? Make a video because yesterday I lost a bet. Probably one of the worst things that could happen. And I had to say the good things about the Nintendo Switch. And no, I am not kidding from when I say that. So, there's this drawing I did. I know you can't really see it, but there's the Rebel Cock, also known as a rejected Pixels cameo. All this while made in Rails. So, what are the good things about the Nintendo Switch? Very hard to think of. There is the games, obviously. There's Splatoon, the upcoming Smash Ultimate, ARMS. But then you realize Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is basically just Mario Kart 8, so that's not included. There is also One to Switch, a very, very good bad game. For those who didn't like bad games enough. And that's literally just it. Another good thing is the online services. The fact that you have to pay for less of the great things is one of the best things you could do. And in case you're wondering, yes, I'm saying this sarcastically. I really suck at my job, do I? If I do, and don't be afraid to admit it, Nostalgic Opinions has got to be one of the most divided souls you could come across. Then, yeah, basically I do suck at my job. Haters, I think you could just refrain back to calling me bastard. You could stop. You should only call me bastard at the most convenient moments. Then you would know that this is probably one of the worst channels have ever come out of YouTube history. So, what's another good thing? The fact that these things, the Joy-Cons, they don't break at all. Like seriously, if you did that to another controller, it would break. Plus you can't even take outside. Not even handheld. Then here's my advert. Yeah, my drawing sucks. So, what do we do now? I love the fact that you could be able to break it and it never ever plays a game again. That would save me from the stress of reliving it all in the future. I could see the comments are started to get a little bit bad there. But don't blame me, blame the person who won the bet against me. That's literally all I have. You could subscribe if you want. Not saying that you should, but I recommend it. You could leave a like, or you can leave a dislike if you hated my explanation, which still kind of made fun of the Switch. And you could just leave a comment. More likely, I bet it's going to be one saying, "Fuck you, Liam, you the Switch is bows." So, I'll end it right here. Peace. Hello, this is Liam from Flame Studios, and this is kind of a huge week for me, because this week is me first week. We've also got some sort of you know what? Maybe we could forget about that. So, you might be wondering why those spades there. Well, these are the 5 videos. From every video, one gets taken off. That shows that it's kind of like a special way of showing how many episodes are left. This is the first one. It's also episode 8 of Nostalgic Opinions. And what we're going to be doing today? The moderators. And yep, despite the fact that this episode, the Nostalgic Opinions show is supposed to show everyone that the world is divided, this is something we are hugely united on. We all hate the moderators. Right, at first they weren't that much so big of a hassle back from the beginning of Miiverse, but after the update with Scaver imposed some strict rules, they started being way too strict for their own good, and just kind of ruined everything. Right, I do remember I joined like back on July the 27th as BPM Ultra, cause that was basically the name I was originally going to go by on this channel, which back then was called BPM Entertainment, which basically I would refer to now as a code name, cause that was how I referred to it before. It was supposed to be done on New Year's Eve, but we'll do more details about that on this episode, the king of them all. So, how did Remaster get to this point? Well, I do remember, right, from my experience on that site, despite the fact that it was only like a few months, but almost every single one of you has used Miiverse, not fully, at least there'll be just a few times or just even once, but I bet you all had an account on it. That's my guess. I used it all the time. It's basically the trade-off back then for me. And so, how was this like? It was kind of huge. Well, it was kind of a huge transition for me, and then suddenly, like 2 months later, it was September, I kept getting signs saying that the moderators took down my posts. Fortunately, I wasn't banned. October, still safe. November, days right before the end, I would probably talk about that from the king. But they would always just sometimes even take down posts for no reason. There were many people who followed me on that Miiverse, and they ended up having their accounts blocked, or banned, because that was how it was back then, and it was just pure crazy. There was this person from Germany, mostly just did drones, gets banned, and then there was this person I later faced off against on Pokemon Sun and Moon, gets banned. It was just pure crazy, but I don't really know why they would have managed to keep their job even days before the ending of Miiverse, where they just took literally almost a lot of posts down. So, final conclusion, they are probably the worst type of human species you'll ever come across. Just, hopefully you would agree with me. So, now that's basically the end of the video. You could subscribe, not saying that you should, but you can. I would recommend it though. You could leave a like, or maybe leave a dislike if you love the moderators, which I bet none of you did. you could leave a reply. You could call me bastard if you're one of the moderators, I don't care. And yeah, it's literally it for the video. But you know about the thing that I almost cut off at the last moment? I'm about to talk about that. So, if you're on Twitter and you follow me, I kind of bet that you don't, because most of you wouldn't have a Twitter page. But how does Dreamers to get this to talk about it? Well, I'm kind of like one of the main supporters from this campaign that mainly supports this Hideki Naganuma. Never heard of him. You should definitely watch his listen to his music. They're awesome. I almost lost the words to say, since there's literally hardly any words to describe them. Like, they're way more exciting than the most exciting words you could find. So, and like, Sega of Japan, you know, them, said about them from my all three Sega Divisions episode. You know how I said they don't really do that much, rather kind of being the bane of our ass. This is the first time I say this, but modern Sega isn't really the problem, because Sega of America, the good guys, are supporting him. And so, what's the main importance of this when you already know that I was like this on Twitter? That is, like, I am being forced into doing some sort of almost complete war with Mass Gaming UK. Hope that doesn't happen. Hopefully something gets done, because many other attempts have failed. If you're watching this, and I'm pretty sure you are, don't worry, I'm trying to sort it all out. But it's just gotta be less divided from this. So, and hopefully you'll understand that, hopefully it doesn't really get to that point. Like, tried the best I could, it's done literally nothing. So, yeah, gonna have to end it there for what I said about the ending. So, hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and I'm not sure if you could see, but today is the second episode of me this week. And in case you're wondering, this is the exact day Miiverse ended, 6 AM here in Britain. Lovely, lovely Britain. And we ain't doing this video right where we do it. That is where this big fat bastard comes in. Yes, the bed. So, sorry, my throat was kind of stuck. We go around here, and then this is how it is like. This was how I filmed my videos always, with my MP3 player. I don't have any more. I still have the same model, but it's not the same one as I had 1 year ago. And let's relive some old memories. The old-fashioned BPM Entertainment, that was the old name of the channel. And let's get right into this. And in case you're wondering, no, we did not have the channel as BPM Entertainment, ever. It was originally supposed to be released on the New Year's Eve of 2017, but never got the equipment to. Now I have the laptop, which allows me to which normally allowed me to create the channel, but also to be able to upload videos, which is the exact reason why you're on. And now that shadow wire in the middle is not 5 volt. It'd be very creepy. This video will mostly replicate how life was from the last couple of weeks. As if you ever followed BPM Ultra, which was me, in the last few weeks, I started kind of being anti-Nintendo. No, not the way of saying every single Nintendo fan is a fucking bastard. No, it wasn't like that. I was basically anti-Switch. I still am now. And don't ask questions, because I will probably just send you into an hours-long conversation of you know what on Twitter. So, first of all, if you follow me now on Twitter, you've probably heard the phrase hashtag don't switch to the Switch. That was a tweet with, that was actually a post which I did back in the Miiverse days. So it's already 1 year old. Probably way more older than you use this one specific hashtag for over many different social media platforms. And it's some people would say it's iconic, and actually it is really. And oh yeah, now next we have something rich. Right, I did actually have a series on my old MP3 player. Fortunately, I can't access it now. I think I might be able to bring it back in 2019. Who knows? It was called Pokemon X Online Adventures, or as I would like to call it, PXOA. But I prefer to call it by its longer name because it brings back a lot more memories than just a short name. And that was the origins of my experience creating videos. Right, if it weren't for that, Nostalgic Opinions wouldn't be here, and most of all, I wouldn't have had gained the interest of becoming a YouTuber in the first place. So, if you wanted to wonder who Ritz inspired me, you just probably hand it all over to that little way more cringier than me now series. But if I ever do bring it back, it'll probably be on Twitch. I'm not really sure. It would also probably be where Nostalgic Opinions is on, unless if I manage to find out a way of how to stream on multiple platforms on just a phone. And yeah, basically just about Pokemon X-Ray Online Adventures. But I guess you're thinking, what do I actually do in it? It was mostly just me, like, talking about my daily life, and also while playing Pokemon X on my 2DS. I am using the same 2DS for filming as I did when I used. It was actually this was the 2DS I used for Miiverse. So the 2DS where I played Pokemon X. Unfortunately, I got another 2DS which broke, but I ended up playing Pokemon X on that one. She had to bring it back many times, but couldn't really be able to. And there was one video which I actually did based off the filmed from my 2DS. I don't have it. Even if I did, I don't know if I'd been able to do it, unless if obviously I just filmed the screen, but you'll need headphones for that. And basically that's literally it. So now on to the big question. Why was I against this Switch? And did I have a rebellion? Yes, I did have a rebellion. And why did I do that voice? It's as annoying as just trying to pretend to be someone else. And if you're thinking that you're falling down, don't worry, it's just my bed. can change. And in case you're wondering, yes, I had a rebellion. It was just a group of 24 people, including me. And one of them was my friend who I got separated from. He's in New York, and just more science if you well. This I was like, to be honest, I will never be right. Twitter will never be as great as Meverse. But back onto the thing, like, did the thing ever become popular? Sort of, but I was the only person who was using it. I had 36 followers at the time over the entire lifespan of the Meverse account. Right now, if you think about it, I have 23, so probably just 13 off, and just a lot of memories. Like, if you want to, I'm just saying, if you want to get my friend code, you could ask for it in the comment section, and yeah, we might be able to chat. I'm not guaranteeing it because I don't really play Pokemon X as much now, and plus I've lost the game card. If I do manage to find it, I will tell you in the comment section. And basically, that's literally all there is for this video. If you want, you could subscribe. I'm not saying that you should. That'll be called demanding. That's what a lot of YouTubers are like. And holy shit, this thing is actually yellow. Hello, this is Liam from Flame Studios, and in case you wondered, this is not part of me this week. Just conspired. Originally, there wasn't supposed to be a Halloween special for this year because I don't do equipment for that. But after seeing episode 5 of 7 Days of is it Spooky from Octavius, and which also included Pixels Limited in it, I just realized, well, all of them are imagined to beat me to it, so maybe I should. So here I am about to do it. This is about the game which pretty much horrified me and kind of enslaved me, kind of based off the public announcement. So, first we go right to the Xbox 360. The rest of all the 360 games, the 360 was an awesome console, but nothing could be able to be as bad as the Viva Pinata games. Those are very unexpected. If you're a fan of Rare, and I bet you are at one point, most of the old Rare fans would have known them for being for making classics such as GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie. They have those games, and those are just one of the most horriblest games I've ever played. Like, I hated the Viva Pinata series. In fact, it was the first thing I actually hated that was related to video games. And for it to be on the Xbox 360, it was just shocking. Like, yes, they later released one for the DS, but I don't own that game, fortunately. So, I think we should forget about that, and oh yeah, it does cover a bit. Next we have Transformers Dark of the Moon Stealth Force Edition. As you may notice, those are I'm actually criticizing some of the good games. If he was able to say that one of the horrible games was Mortal Kombat on the Mega Drive, then I could be able to totally rage at those games. This, I couldn't even get past the first level. It was that hard. Like, now have completed it, but I don't really like it much. Next, that's not maybe part, not that. We have Transformers the game. Now I was actually good at this, but still kind of sucked a lot. Right, as you can notice, I kind of hate a lot of the Transformers games. You could be able to call me bastard if you disagree with me, alright? Don't hate me, bro. Next, we have actually something based off a classic series, Wipeout, Pulse on the PSP. The rest of those games are on the PSP. That I'm going to be saying about on the PSP. So, why wouldn't I? Wipeout Pulse was just basically a simple wipeout. I didn't like the controls, and that was literally just it. So, next, Twisted Metal, one of the hardest games I've ever played. Like, some of you might have completed it numerous times, but I had 30 save files in total. I had to delete some. You know how many times I had? Like 37 save files. How many times did I complete it? Once. Just one fucking time I bet this game. And I still can't remember how horrible it was. Right, I love Twisted Metal, don't get me wrong, but it just kind of ruined the series for me. And what do we have next? Again, stuff you might as well want to call me bastard over. We have Namco Museum Battle Collection. This is actually arcade classics, but this is especially Pac-Man, right? To be honest, Pac-Man's got to be one of the worst ideas ever invented for a video game. Like, you're just chased by ghosts. What the fuck was that all about from when you had Blinky, Pinky, Sinky, and Fucky? I don't know their names, but why the fuck would you have such thing? It's one of the worst things that has ever been invented. Like, why would you? This is supposed to be a classic. Yeah, I can't even say I love it because it's utter shit. It's so hard. And it's one of the worst games ever made. Oh my fucking god. It's as if all those games were just horrible. Abominations of Mankind. And yes, I had to borrow that from Cinemassacre. Why would you? In fact, my recommendation, top tip of the prosperous year, never ever buy any of those games I just mentioned. They will terrorize you, and worst of all, they might as well kill you. After I feel a bit... Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and well, it's been quite a month, has it? Like I managed to get something from EGX, just a tiny bit. Despite the fact I did not become part of it, I managed to become well known during that period. Now you've got me now completely different, for obvious reasons. But let's just rewind all the way back to last year, where you could probably guess what this is heading as. The cards are there, so it's time for episode... What the fuck was I at? Sorry, yeah, episode 3 of me this week. this time we'll be reviewing how I was back then compared to me now. And in case you're wondering, I am not talking about me myself back then. This is basically BPM Entertainment, codename for back then, the Flame Fam Studios, the modern period. Hopefully we haven't taken a downhill turn, despite the fact that most of the stats. So, right. By the time we were at this point, I think it was back in September. I think. Right. We had like 26 something followers. Twitter page. Only 24. And then you look at the YouTube channel, it's only 6. Which, if you add them up, they would be able to overtake the Miiverse thing, but none of them has actually managed to beat on its own. This is kind of a huge, weird problem. I don't want myself to be beaten by that way more offensive younger me who hated Viva Pinata and weirdly hated Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, I just said that. This is going to look very cringy on YouTube, I know that. You might as well call this the most cringiest video of the year. We've also got the shit quality of the 2DS, which should hopefully go away, like, who knows, in Christmas Day. But, what do you have? And, but like, let's say this, people kind of helping out, way more than last year. Right, back then it was only like 1, and now you have a couple, I mean a few, not like, don't get any ideas. Don't think that I'm married, otherwise I'll probably just wait outside with a machete, which will prevent you from walking forward. And yes, that's a quote from Miiverse, about a Miiverse post that became popular on other types of social media, like Twitter. And even the Reddit page doesn't have any followers. That does make sense. I only ever did a couple of posts, and yeah, I haven't used that since last year. And then you've got Twitch, more likely to overtake YouTube, and yeah. So, what do we have next? Well, I think that would probably be it, but that's not the end of it. You want to see how I was back then. Back then I was helping out with another YouTube channel before Flame Farm Studios, before even BPM Entertainment even became a crazy idea of mine. You might have not heard of it, but if you've watched the Mad Mine Ethan, which I bet you haven't, got way more subscribers than me, but that's because it's 1 year since he actually used it. I only helped out with one series, just from ideas. I didn't collaborate, didn't really do anything, and plus he only referred to me as one of my friends. And if you've then you should probably just look at the Universe Sandbox series from his channel. That's the one I helped out with. And yeah, it's kind of a shame he doesn't have any, but you know what GB means? It's not gigabytes anymore, it's goodbye. If you want, you could subscribe. Not saying they should, but it's a recommendation. Top quality recommendation from the manager. And if you could leave a like, or even leave a dislike if you actually hated that channel, or you hated me back then. So I bet none of you did, because you wouldn't like to see me back then. Check out on Archieverse if you want. And alright, Archiverse. Yes, Archiverse. And you could leave a reply saying about what you think Beavis. Is it happy or is it sad? Do you think I'm better than I was before, or do you think younger me is way more better than me now? If that is, then you could probably just... No, this is Liam from Flame Studios, and we're going back to a time where it was way before the Twitter page, way before the YouTube channel, way before I even met the people I would call friends now. It might encourage you, if it just depends on your status. But it was at the time of this. That was actually 1 year after that, but I was still obsessed with it. It was at the time when I was still obsessed with Pokemon cards. Lovely. Lovely. And it was also a time when my only type of entertainment was this bastard and the 2DS. It was a extremely great time, to be honest, because we are talking about the first few and the only communities I have been with. And good news, it's the 4th episode, so tomorrow will be the one we've all been looking for, to the King. Now we are just at the 2 hearts, so let's just focus on that. I was mostly part of the Pokemon X community. That was the only one I would actually become a huge part of. Right, my first online friend, who was in New York, he was mostly a part of the Splatoon community. Back then, it was way before I even knew Wii U was a thing. Very weird to say, but it's true. And as you could tell, I was mostly obsessed with Pokemon at the time. Now you look at me now and you'll probably think I've always been a Sega fan all my life, but no, I have never been that all my life. And so, was that the only community I was part of? Time to time I commented on the Dicey Life community, and I did drawings. I even did a few about hashtag don't switch to the Switch. Very weird choice, I know, but anything goes here. But it was some of you should know, Mavis was also plagued by those weird drawings and kind of horrifying people with dicks and even a photo of penis. Yeah, I came across that one time. Even I am good at drawing it, but we could just be able to, as this is always intended to be short, and plus we are already halfway through the number of starts I could use, I have to end it like that. Sorry for the shortness of the video. It's probably as short as Mark would be able to do a channel update, but it's just growing pains. If you want, you could subscribe. Not saying that you should. Would be recommended. You can leave a like, or even leave a dislike if you thought it was going to last nearly 10 minutes. And you can leave a reply saying about what communities you're part of. Goodbye. No, this is Liam from Flame Studios, and welcome to the King. Yes, this is the last episode of me this week, and this is basically the big one. We're going to be talking about what happened after Mevis, and what were the life lessons that we learnt. So let's throw this right under the bus and get right into it. Now, as you all know, this channel is mostly about gaming. We aren't related to one specific game company like Maz Gaming UK or even goddamn Nintendo. Sorry, Nintendo. And no sorry, Mark. And like we are mostly just we're focused on gaming as a whole. Back then that was mostly just Nintendo. Like I must filmed my videos with this camera, not yep, have it. This is like the £60 ones you'll get from Argos, that's because it is. This had a camera at the back. This isn't the same one because the original broke after 1 year. And yeah. Then for fuck's sake. And from that time I was mostly filming Pokemon X adventures. We already did said about that. And so, as you should know, gaming isn't always just about handhelds. This is my entire games collection right here. I've got DS games, 3DS, PSP, and even PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 games. PS1 games are over there in that box, but I can't get them out. And so, but you aren't here for that. You want to know what happened to BPM Entertainment, how formed into Flame Farm Studios, and what was the story behind that, and what were the life lessons. Right, if I do know, I still have the friend code of the people who followed me. I had another one, but can't rage that him, and then I deleted his friend code. Sorry for that. And then I was mostly all downhill from that. The channel was originally supposed to be up created on New Year's Eve. Might as well consider that as kind of my experience. And then I was obsessed with Pokemon at the time. I stopped being a Pokemon fan at March of 2018. I still love Pokemon, I'm just not as big a fan as I am now. I was mad at Nintendo for taking down Miiverse, and then soon on there I managed to find out that Sega actually made consoles more other than a Mega Drive, and before you know it, boom, start becoming a Sega fan. And then, but that was still the fourth channel. I think at the beginning of August, I started thinking that it should not be called BPM Entertainment, and then it got changed to Flame Farm Studios, and on August the 28th, I managed to create the channel. It's only been and did not create any videos until October, with multiple friendships with other YouTubers, including the Manchester fellow, and I think now it is time to, and boom, that's basically the end of me this week and the end of this video. If you want, you could subscribe. I was saying that you should. Recommendation. But if you want to, you can leave a like or even leave a dislike if this was totally not relevant. Oh, I forgot. Life lessons. What we learnt was, number one, Nintendo was just a huge ass who didn't have proper moderators. Number two, can't always have friends for the rest of your life. You know, the same friends. And three, social media is a great big fuck. No, this is Liam for Flame Farm Studios, and in case you're wondering, we are not going to be doing the Afterthoughts episode about the Inside Xbox that was last night. Neither is this going to be from Nostalgic Opinions. This is not the 13th episode. Oh, it's the 11th. Yes. This is not the 13th episode. We're going to be doing a series called On the Lighter Side. And what we'll be talking about? The Nintendo Switch Online services for the first episode that you'll see. Hopefully this will spiral into something that'll be more like how the Americans have it. But, and yes, this is going to be on at the end of each week, Sunday, probably at random times. But let's get right into it. And in case you're wondering, this is not part of Me This Week. Me This Week is already finished, and you might as well have to go check out the aftermath of Meverse to find out about what I said about from there. So, good things. And probably the reasons why it shouldn't really be hated. There's only one. Has the NES controllers. That's literally just it. And the bad points is literally everything. It doesn't fix the problems from Splatoon 2. I don't think they will do anything from the servers from Smash Ultimate, despite the fact that it has its own phone app. Number 3, it just kind of, they say it replaces Virtual Console, when actually it's just NES games. Motherfucking NES games. And don't even get me started on the fact that you could literally just buy the games from the Sega ages and not forget about the Neo Geo. Did they have it for the Neo Geo? We shouldn't really get into that stuff, but if you want if you want to play old consoles, don't buy the Nintendo Switch, and if you have, don't use Switch Online. It's best to just get the actual one. And remember, if you do own the Switch, they did release what I would say controversial, because I'm not really that much a fan of it, the Mega Drive Classics. And if you're not into the Sega titles, well, I think they did release something based off SNES game, or it's based off the SNES code. You might as well have to comment in the comment sections, and then I might as well put in some sort of update from the description. And what do we have as part of the bad points? Number 4, literally everyone hates it, including I, because I swear if you're one of the probably 5,000 people who love it, you have a problem with your brain, and we suggest that you must be incinerated. And number 5, it's on motherfucking Nintendo Switch. But that shouldn't really be a bad point, because it's just me. And you could literally just buy, probably guess from this pen. Wait, think about it. This is me just saying for the dollar from the Nintendo Switch. It's $279 dollars. Has no game included. And guess what? If you want to be real, go get yourself a 3DS or even some pre-owned Wii U. They have a few weeks off online, but even that is free. Why don't you just go buy some games? And that's literally all I have. If you want, you could subscribe. Not saying that you should. Huge recommendation, but who knows? Maybe you hate me now, 'cause you love the Nintendo Switch Online. And if you love those, you can leave a dislike. If you hate it as well as me, you could leave a like. Or even don't leave anything. But I would recommend that you leave a comment, say add any external bad points, or even tell me the name of that game. And that's literally all I have. And this is goodbye from me. Go fuck yourself, Brit. No, this is Liam from Flavor Studios, and welcome to episode 14, I think, of Nostalgic Opinions. I have to get myself some brew. A fake one. You'll see this tomorrow, just more empty, less full. Jeez. For fuck's... Wait, excuse me a minute. If it kept going like that, you would have been distracted. Sorry about that. I've got the return of the slap of the card. If you're interested in that. And what will we be doing today? We'll be reviewing British retro gaming shows, and I think I managed to shove in an Australian podcast, because for some reason I managed to get his own rival in the form of that. Don't judge me. And most of all, don't tase me, bruh. Don't want to come back with don't know what that is. So first, let's review the first one. That actually isn't the first one. There was Nightmare we've gone for. That's one shoved off the hook, but isn't really that much a retro gaming show. We're going to be reviewing Games Master, the king of the MO, and the one which should have been revived, except it got revived a bunch of times and failed each time. This show you might have remembered from the 90s. It was an extremely popular show that aired on Channel 4, hosted by a Scottish man, lovely Scotland, Dominic Diamond, who was as sarcastic as Jeremy Clarkson. They basically followed the same concept as Top Gear does now, and it's... But they only had two main people you should know about, unless if you count the third one, who I think was called Dave Perry, you know, for the incident at Mario 64. Probably the reason why the dick controller was a bit too much to handle. Sorry for the bad pun. I'm sorry, Dave, if you're watching this, or whatever your name is. So, how many slaps does it get? And an extra one for being utterly sarcastic. And another one for being the best in this. 7 slaps out of 5. Yep, the next one it kind of sucks. It is Bits. Don't even get me started on that heck of a show. basically just like a more modern version of Games Master. Did not have the same imagination. It was hosted by female hosts, because that was what the early thousands were. Basically like, don't judge. And they mostly ended up just reviewing games. They even managed to throw Pokemon in the bin, which would have very much disappointed me as it's only getting one. It sucks. No offense if you love it or if you love the presenters, but Bits is just not my type. Next we have... Just to say this is the one which was before Bits of the Games Master, Digitizer. And Digitizer is one heck of a retro gaming show that isn't even a retro gaming show at all. Did not be shown on TV. I think it was mostly from the internet. But don't judge me because apparently Digitizer kind of sucks and we'll have to give it 3 slaps. So why? Next we have Digitizer again. And I forgot to mention, digitizing I almost felt like disgusting. It's something like that. But Digitizer the show, the actual one, and the one which is managed to start just a couple of days ago on the 11th day of the 11th month of the 18th year of the 21st century. It's just Digitizer, just with more well-known names, and it is literally just Digitizer, just not like in the internet form. I am going to have to give it 4 slaps and a half, because just missed out on the full marks. It's just really Digitizer, not... It's just a reviewed version. Why the hell did they go for the Super Nintendo colors? Next is something more of an unexpected one, but I had to throw in there for good measure. The Synth Spacey Show. Australian, not British, and it's actually Australian, which is still kind of part of Britain. Sorry, Australians. But let's just throw in there because this is actually Digitizer's rival. Kind of like I rival Mass Gaming. Now we're basically on the verge of war. And just to say this, it's maybe just a podcast he's making. Right, I think his name is Brian. He is right. He's trying to make it more of an actual show rather than just your regular old podcast, but he should just definitely make it a bit shorter. Never got the time to watch the first episode. Like I only watched 20 minutes of it before I was like, this is kind of a bit boring. But he is doing a good effort, and plus he has had experience and think he was like from the Sega Technical Institute. Heard he worked for Megazone, so I think we're a magazine, and also he had what I would call the best retro game YouTuber of all time, Samuel Victor, or basically Pixels Limited if you don't want to get confused. So you have to give it 5 slaps. There's nothing more you can say. And that's literally just it. And in case you're wondering why Nostalgic Opinions wasn't there, it is not a fucking... No, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to episode 15 of Nostalgic Opinions. This episode we'll be talking about the 3 games that went viral that I, myself, played. And I even get to voice my opinions on them. So, let's jump right into it. First, we have got Slender the game. This was on the PC and imagine it was released back in 2010. This was a game that pretty much petrified me. Back then I was only like 5 years old. It was my first taste of PC gaming, and didn't really leave that much a great taste in me at the time. Over the time, as the time went by, I must start liking it. I don't play anymore though. But, so, what do I think of it? Well, it is an alright game. They released on the Xbox 360 as in the name of Slender the Arrival, and from the slap of the cartridge, for some reason I left it over there. 4 slaps. It is an alright game. But now, next we go to a game which was released before Slenderman, but I played it after Slenderman. Yes, we're talking about Minecraft. And I played it on the Xbox 360. Just to say this, right, here's my rant of the day, right. I am not a fan of Minecraft. It got ruined by many YouTubers, which at first it was fine. You had a few big YouTubers and mostly that was it. Then a lot of people ended up doing their own version, and then suddenly it ended up being kind of annoying. Even managed to help out with one of the channels. Never appeared on it, but but I didn't work on the series. I even had my own map from Minecraft, but because of the fact I did not have online, I did not manage to let others play it. And just to say this, from the slap of the card, it's for some reason Ah, there it is. We've almost became a first. So, three slaps of the card shows that's alright. But, it's basically your choice. If you want, you could be able to just say it's the best game yet. Because I would say it's your opinion. But, just expect some divisive arguing over it. So, what do we have next? It's the one which is popular now. It's been popular for a year. And, yes, I am talking about Fortnite. I only managed to play it on the Nintendo Switch, a game console which I've criticized. And just to say this, it's alright if you want to have a good laugh. And to be honest, it's really like, I don't really get why many people criticize it. Yes, you have many skins and not everyone's happy about that, but that gives it its own unique feeling. It doesn't feel like Call of Duty, and I doubt it ever will. But just sit there with so much fun, a lot of great moments, and from the people who hate it, it's kind of just staggering of how even some people hate it. That Manchester fellow, you know what I'm talking about, he ended up doing a thumbs down to it from his AGX highlights video. Would I give it a thumbs down? No, I wouldn't. It's a fun game. I wouldn't call it the best game of 2018 or 2017, but it's a good try at Matt. It's a huge success story, and just to say this, many people are happy at Epic Games for releasing Fortnite, and me, I am basically one of those people. I don't like the people who criticize it, and yes, that includes that Manchester fellow. So, snaps of the card. After 1 year of not playing it, I finally managed to play it, which means I finally get to voice my own opinion on it, and it would actually count. And the next one for being a huge success story and probably the biggest game we've seen in this decade. 6 slaps. Not many stuff has managed to get through that Ray. Even Pixels Limited didn't. So, that's the end of this video today. If you want, you could subscribe, saying that I should. Recommendation, and you could leave a like, or if you disagree with me and you're probably one of those haters of Fortnite, you can leave a dislike, and also get voice your opinions from the comment section down below. And here's a question of the day: what is your most favorite viral game of all time? And I'm meaning any. Even games that I did not even mention, like Five Nights at Freddy's and Doki Doki Literature Club. And it is bye for now. This is Liam from Flame Farm Studios, and goodbye for now. For the second time. Hello, this is Liam from Flame Farm Studios, and welcome to episode 16 of Nostalgic Opinions. This episode will be covering the many different rumors of the long-rumored but never came Dreamcast 2. But then I'm just going to throw in my rant of the day, and I'm going to pin it right on the Dreamcast. You've probably heard me say about how great the Dreamcast was. Well, those were only white lies. I am going to be saying about my true feelings about the Dreamcast itself. It had exceptionally good games. Games such as Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and not to forget Jet Set Radio Future. And just to say this, y'all know the thing I don't really like about the Dreamcast? The way Sega handled it. This was the signs that Sega was suffering from modernism and were about to turn completely against its fans. Right, from when the PlayStation 2 was released, it did not have that much great games at launch, but people still buyed it. Sega, on the other hand, just panicked and threw in a few not so great games, and not to forget you could be able to just make your own games for the goddamn system, and then later they ended up going out of the console market, and find out, boom, modern Sega uprisers, and we're fucked. But let's get right back to the subject we're talking about, Dreamcast 2. And to be honest, there were only about like 2 projects that were close to finishing, but I'll cover the one I know about most, Project Dream. This was back in 2015, got my people hyped, and before you know it, some guy ends up firing all his staff, and boom, project dead. And my opinion on it, I would imagine they would have gone very close, but yet so far, it's a lot like about to choose that Emmerdale, would end, or even deciding to introduce anti-sippers into Riverdale. And where it goes after that. And from utter craziness, snap of the card here. I just said card, but alright. Very close, but was extremely hyped for, so yeah. Right, so next we have another one called Project Goliath. Don't really know much about this one. Like, I don't know what would be the look of the console, and I don't know when they started that. I think probably back in 2013, but never really got that far into production, and then they cancelled it. What about my opinions on it? Well, I don't really know much about it. Didn't really study about that. And but I imagine it would have been a bit worse than Project Dream was. And plus it didn't really have that much drama. I would imagine it would have just been something from Sega just to get us hyped. Something they always try to do, but they always fail at the last minute. Only people they must to impress is the modernizers. So, snap of the card. And scratch for again, so close. And another one. And to be honest, that is really about it. Sorry for being so short. I was basically tired. There's another episode coming today. It isn't for nostalgic opinions, but you should know it because it's on Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want, you could subscribe. Not saying that you should, but I definitely would recommend it. You could leave a like, or if you think I was a total idiot saying about it, leave a dislike. And if you know about another project that I did not cover, you could probably say about it in the comment section below. So if I might think of covering it. But here is my question of the day. Do you think the Sega shop is doing well with Dreamcast merchandise? And that's about it. This is Liam for Flamefam Studios, and this is goodbye for now. Hello, this is Liam for Flamefam Studios, and just to say this is obviously a Nostalgic Opinions episode. The only series which has for some reason never been affected by anything, and hopefully won't be for the years to come. And just to say this, some of you might think that this is a channel about retro gaming. Well, just to say this, you're kind of wrong. This is a channel about gaming for right now. For now, I mean. But but like, if this was a channel about retro gaming, we'd already have game reviews already. But it wouldn't be like about the latest. Some of you might say that's a good thing, but actually we've just kind of made it a bit restricted. That is years we like dominated by adults. Like if you think about it, I'm a 13-year-old, I'm a teenager, and it would be kind of a bit wrong to step right into that environment, and because yeah, just get slaughtered. And this channel have already had a much more shorter life than the peaceful ages. And just to say this, like, we've already had a lot of bloggers on YouTube and a lot of people who hate me for reasons I do not know about. If you're one of those people, just please refrain to call me bastard. Don't go all out and just be like, hey, that guy's an asshole. 'Cause number one, my asshole is right there, on my backside, at the bottom. You know where it is, because even you people have one. And number two, I only ever accept the term bastard, not the other terms, like, for example, idiot or odd guy. But seriously, why don't we just introduce love? Like, for some reason, that's one thing Twitter doesn't know about, and is definitely something that me back then didn't really that much know about. That was the reason why there are some people who are idiots. And to be honest, Reddit's even worse, because anything you do is more likely to get criticized and liked, unless if it was about, number one, Soviet to Russia, or number two is about like something people are interested in. I don't mind if this channel fails. I only care about if this channel ever goes far, and about the people who support me, which leads me on to another subject. I've had a conversation, which is still going on at the time of recording, and it's mostly about Patreon. You know, the thing every channel has for some reason. And let me say this. This channel, mark my words, will never, ever force you to pay just for early content. Like, I know who supports the channel. I do not need people to have to pay, because that would just be unfair for what I want to be the two top forces for Flamefam Studios, which is Twitter and, you know what, YouTube. And just to say this, and I said just to say this a bunch of times, so please keep along with me. If this channel was to have a Patreon page, it is more likely to be short-lived. Like, this channel will always be fair to every viewer and to every person who is interested. It's not going to just exclude the people who aren't paying £5 a month. Like, I wouldn't want that. I'll just rather be called asshole for the rest of my life, rather than have to let people pay just to watch my channel early. Like, come on, there's live streams coming up in the next year. What more could you possibly want when I've already got a Twitch account that I don't use much? You might as well have to end it here, because, just to say this, you've already gone through a lot. If you want, you could subscribe. The same that I should, but it's pretty much a recommendation from me. And I am not forcing you to pay £1 a day just to subscribe. So don't worry about that. You could be able to leave a like, or if you want me to join to be a Patreon, if you want this channel to have a Patreon page, leave a dislike, and you could say about it in the comments. So here's the question of the day. Do you think Patreon is kind of a bit useless, especially when you know about that people are supporting your channel via YouTube and Twitter and Google Plus and Reddit? This is Liam for Flamefam Studios, and this is bye for now. We'll never have a Patreon page. Hello, this is Liam for Flamefam Studios, and originally I was going to have a on the lighter side episode coming. Found it, but computer gone encrypted while the SD card was in, and I lost the footage, lost some footage from the other videos, including one which was supposed to be released for the 25 mishaps of Christmas. This means it's kind of been a rough day. At least I managed to get the Nostalgic Opinions episode up earlier today, so that series did not get affected by the encryption. But it's still kind of bad news when you have to consider that not only do I have to found this again, but I'm going to have to get start from scratch. There was originally going to be a new logo coming up for the channel, don't you know? I'm going to build up the thing again, and I'm going to have to get new music for the SD card. Just glad my MP3 player wasn't connected. It's been a whole lot worse. And when this reaches 2 minutes, I will start off the episode. So, let's think about it. It's Sunday. We have next week and a couple of other weeks. Hopefully it'll be better than this week. Hope you've had a very good week this week. We've been through a lot together. A lot of firsts. And here it is. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to On the Lighter Side. In this, just to say this, yesterday it wasn't yesterday, it was Friday. On Friday I went to a concert called Fast Love. It's not actually Fast Love, it's Fast Love, but whatever. And there was a tribute to the great George Michael. Someone who is missed by all of us and will be missed forever. And that managed to get me thinking. We've done tributes for a long time. This channel even started off with one for the NES. I bet you'd have saw that because 27 views at the time of filming. And yeah, but I shouldn't really start promoting my other videos when you're already busy watching the thing which is being on. Lucky you. And if you're watching this, Samuel, we do not apologize for stealing your intro. Instant karma. Anyway, can I take a look at this? If this would fall, is it just it? You did not see my hand there, and people would pay tribute to the people who died in that horrible Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer case. And fortunately the NRC thing wasn't in it. It's over there. See that thing, second box down? Yeah, that's it. And I've, take for example me this week. That's a tribute to Meverse. And ended up taking a week out of my entire thing, doing the cards, and thinking about different stuff that I should do for it. And it's kind of on like Dreamcast month, which is not from this channel, I know, but it's got kind of delayed, and to be honest, it wasn't really that much a Dreamcast month, more Dreamcast video for Pete's sake. I don't even mention that Switch, Fuck. I said I'll go a day without mentioning it. And I failed. That light is safe from being black, ain't it? And in case you're wondering. And to be honest, I've kind of lost what I was saying there. And if you want, you could listen to me just doing this while I think. So, like, what's the importance of tributes? Well, we need them in our lives. If you don't have a tribute, you're basically fucked. Basically like the Middle Ages, where if you die, it's more likely that you are a criminal. And people will cheer for your hanging. And just to say this, why would we need them in our lives? It's basically the thing that keeps the planet spinning. Before Sega making consoles, but hey, I could even do an entire video about me just spinning my hand. But that's getting off topic, and so, what? Have I proved my point? Absolutely, definitely, and 100% proven, no. That's the part of entertainment. This could be labeled as comedy, but I don't want to make it as if I'm just one of those big fat idiots just trying to get a few laughs. So I basically am. But I'm not fat and no one is. So, just goodbye. Hello, this is Liam from Flame Fam Studios and welcome to Nostalgic Opinions. This episode will be talking about something less likely, to kind of offend some viewers. But hey, if you're into this type of stuff, which I doubt you are, then feel sorry for a kid or adult or person at retirement home, right? We all know about the Mega Drive. It's a console that is my most favorite console of all time. It's way better than the stupid Nintendo. Sorry, Super Nintendo fans. You guys aren't super. And, but like it's also a console that has been copied by many other low budget companies which just want sales, I would imagine. Like take for example, like I own one of them. Unfortunately it's the closest I've got to a Mega Drive. Remember this shit? The one made by At Games, it probably looks different, but this was from the 25th anniversary. One of the worst examples of those. I know there were other ones like from Radical, which had one which sounded not as horrible as a Mega Drive, but so horrible in a way that makes you want to listen to Lucky You all day long. And I'm meaning the song. Not the thing that I've used repeatedly just because it's used by another YouTuber. And but from the At Games chat, it says I prefer to call it. It's also like, if I could try to say it in a way, like has one of the worst games you could have while trying to just include some classics just so that you're tempted. This one missed out Sonic 3. No, you can't see it. Right, hopefully you know. They did have Sonic and Knuckles, but they should have just put in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You know, the one which jumbled them together, but it's kind of a very bad. Right. If you ever played an emulator, I would imagine you would agree with me. If you don't, then that kind of makes sense. Maybe people have criticized me over what about my opinions. Take for example the one from episode 17, but you could go check that out yourself. It was more towards Patreon itself, and I now prefer to call it the Patreon rant on Patreon's Day. But like, there are other emulators. There are some from consoles. Those are the alright ones. There's obviously there's the Mega Drive classics, which I would say alright, but they will never be as great as Sonic Gems. But we aren't here to talk about that. We are mostly just here to talk about my opinion on emulators themselves. At first, I thought emulators were like those things, like the cheat codes, which I know they are, cheat code emulators. But then realized there are more types. There's so much. You could easily be able to say they're spreading like Skynet. And trust me, it is probably coming soon. Probably a time when you're probably sitting on the toilet and boom, robots come into your house and strangle you to death, and all you can do is shit yourself. God, that's lovely. Shitting yourself is probably the most disgusting thing you could do. Physically, not verbally. And that's the end of this episode. If you want, you could subscribe. It's no recommendation. Trust me, I've said that a bunch of times. It's part of the outro, so get used to it. You can leave a like, or if you're one of those people I already mentioned, people who like emulators, leave a dislike and say in the comments below. Now here's a question of the day, and it's one which is totally unrelated to anything but gaming. Who was your first crush? This is Liam for Flavor Studios. I look forward to your answers. I've got to cringe. This is bye for now. Hello, this is Liam from Flavor Studios, and welcome to Mistakes of the Past. This series will mostly look at the stuff from the early days, mostly about gaming, but we'll be talking about other stuff as well. Like, if you remember the importance of tributes, this is literally the opposite of that. We'll be looking at stuff that tried to become mainstream, but got ruined right at the beginning. So, without further ado, let's get right into what we're talking about. Cast your mind back to the early 90s. The Sega Genesis, as it was mostly in America, because this is where we're at right now, right, for the video, was already imagined to hold back this Super Nintendo. But then there was a few games that many parents was angry about, that Congress must take notice and do a hearing which would be known as the creation of the, I think it's called the Entertainment Rate, yeah, the Entertainment Software Rating Board. If I got that correct, you have to say in the comments. If I got wrong, leave a dislike on the video. And Nintendo was mostly against Sega, as they were back then, for releasing 3 games, 2 of which I know of. The other one I don't know the name of. It is Night Trap and Mortal Kombat. And you wanna know the weird thing? Only one of those games actually was supposed to qualify for the for being rated. The other ones were pretty much harmless. And All those games were released on Sega Genesis, apart from Mortal Kombat, which was on the Super Nintendo, but the Mortal Kombat outsold the Super Nintendo version, and mostly because of its code. But when the allegations first rose, Sega decided that they would think of trying to hold back the criticism with something called the Video Game Rating Council. And no, this isn't your local council, it's tried to knock your house down, but failed. No, this was one which was Sega's idea of trying to keep parents' mouths shut. And just to say this, I am not a fan of the rating system. Like, especially about now when it's already way down from back then. But, and if you think about it now, they have probably the most limited and probably the most easiest to get by ratings now, compared to back then, from when they had worse graphics and they basically were a lot more stricter. But why are we talking about the Video Game Rating Council? Well, it's a mistake, because it was very short-lived, and I would imagine years later they would introduce the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, and boom, it was gone. I can't click, so just like that, dead. And Nintendo even criticized Sega over introducing it just to hold back criticism. Again, something which they did just to gain more sales. And yeah, later on Sega would end up being dead, and we could finally call Nintendo the overall winner, because they ended up losing the other rivalries from some territories. Europe, the Sega mostly battered them, apart from the Sega Saturn. Japan Sega only won with the Saturn, mostly. This was very unsurprising but they must kill Segata, so yeah. That's the end of this video now. Sorry for being so short, but we are already at the yellow thing from the recorder. I bet that sooner or later I'm going to run out. If you want, you could subscribe. It's a recommendation. And hopefully you won't make the same mistake that Sega did with its own ratings board. You can leave a like, or if you thought this was actually a good thing, leave a dislike and say about it in the comments. Now, for the question of the day, which of the 3 games do you think was the best? And I'm saying this, do not and try not to include Mortal Kombat. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to Nostalgic Opinions. In this episode, we'll be talking about when companies which make soda try to do something now more out of their comfort zone. Now, in case you're wondering, for Coca-Cola, obviously they had their own water that for some reason is everywhere when it comes to being in America. Here we don't get that. But the type we have, which is not from Coca-Cola, it is not water, coming from the makers of Amber, AG Bar, they decided to release a goddamn fruit juice. This is the sparkling tropical. It's fizzy. Can hear Can you hear that? No, you can't, because it's not opened. But this is a sparkling fruit drink. There's also the still ones, if you are into that. And in case you're wondering if we're already friends with that there, I would have already said the ending, but we are not. We will also be including the other types that companies try to do. There was Coca-Cola Life, which was basically just a health version of Coca-Cola. And then there was Amber's and then there was the Amber Extra, which was, I think it was only sold here, because, don't know why, but this was basically the answer to the sugar tax that was that was actually voted for in Parliament. But I think we'll get to that later, because it also caused many a problem 3 years later. So, why are we basically talking about this? Which qualify for nostalgic opinions episodes, because number one, we are basically divided on it. Some people actually prefer the alternatives compared to the, actual thing. And some would say this thing is the worst thing that was ever invented ever since Trump's rig. And my opinion on it is that not all of them deserve criticism. Like, for example, the Amber Extra I thought actually tasted alright, but it was mostly just fruit juice, and the Coca-Cola Life is doing exceptionally well. They just don't sell it here in the UK. And in case you're wondering about Pepsi, my fucking god, you are telling me to do this? We don't even get the actual Pepsi. You just only get one which was made by an actual maker of fruit juice called Rabina. And I know for the other European countries it's different, but just why would you? Like, we need... Right, if PepsiCo, which is the actual name, want to be able to get sub-actual like is here, they better manage to bring it. They actually better manage to just release the actual thing, rather than just hand over the rights to some fruit juice maker famous for making Rabina. Yeah. And to say this, just to finish it off, my final and last opinion on it, to be honest, some of them do kind of suck, especially the water. I did kind of mention, but not by name. I think it was called Durzone, I think. And if you think I messed out any, say in the comments below, and I think I might do a two-parter. If you want, you could subscribe. It's no recommendation, but it is a good... For fuck's sake, even I could get messed up from when you end up mentioning O and fucking J, which actually stands for oh my juice. Oh my fucking juice. This is the worst video I've ever done. Please try to say that I did a good job. Because, to be honest, switching to fruit juices is the worst thing you could do. It's more likely to send you towards the garbage bin down to your stomach. This is Neil from Flame Studios, and this is goodbye for now. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios and welcome to Nostalgic Opinions. I am aware that this is kind of in some competition with a group in the UK and Australia called the Ministry of Retro Gaming. I think of them as pretty good, actually. And yes, if you're confused, you should have just watched the called episode with the Patreon rant, but also said something about my about if this channel is about mostly about retro gaming. You can check that out, but this is totally unrelated, so let's get right into what we're actually talking about in this episode. We have gone a long way from the early days of Atari. We've gone from that to the time from when there was a Micro days, to the day from when Sega messed up with the Dreamcast's handling, then to the time from when many consoles had motion control add-ons that were ripped off from the Wii U. And now we have got the 8th generation. This is legendary. You've already got a console proving itself to probably beat the PS2, and we've also got many flops, but we are already into the middle of the battle. 5 years since it kind of did start. The matter was back in 2011, but that was way too far back, and we should definitely just get right into what we are actually talking about. First off, we have got the PS4. If you asked me before, I would have said, it's the worst console of all time. I'd rather you go take a dump on it rather than play it. Me now, I think it's actually kind of a very good console. And if you think about it, me back then has got to be way more worse than Fox News actually managing to torture Democrats. Or maybe it's kind of similar to the Ministry of Retro Gaming deciding, revealing that they are actually about to take over the world, but rather they not, because otherwise I would imagine they'll probably get snorted. Don't tell them that. And if you're watching this, you heard nothing, unless if you have your own subtitles, which I would probably be snorted in the comments. And just to say this, the PS4 has pretty good consoles. It's iconic. It had a few good limited editions, and it already looks set to destroy its competitors, which are the Xbox One and the dead Wii U. Not including the Switch in this, because I prefer to put in some sort of sub-generation with the Nintendo, with the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, because they're literally just upgrades. But apart from that, let's go right back onto the Xbox One. And you might be wondering, what the fuck are you talking about? But let me say this. Microsoft, along with Sega, are the only companies that have never won a console war ever. And if you think about it, like, I think the next generation will be compared with the Dreamcast's generation, which was also the generation from when the Xbox debuted, and I don't really think they would have much chance in surviving. It's kind of a lot like me and a few of my online friendships. Almost. Just some of them. don't be offended, alright? Alright? We good? Okay, let's get right back into the Xbox One. And it has flopped at launch. I do know that that Microsoft are at least managing to put some interest back into the console with many new additions and getting rid of the Kinect. And but does that matter to prevent me from saying if it's actually kind of alright? It's not really that interesting if you think about it. And I'm wondering about what the fuck happened to the slap of the card. I am literally just going to lie in your face and say I've got it. It's just a different card, but it's the same one. Hopefully this is... Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to On the Lighter Side. Technically, the time of recording is on Saturday, but for you watching on the day of release, this is a Sunday. Doesn't make sense, does it? But we'll be talking about intros. You heard me talk about the importance of tributes, but this usually would count as a Nostalgic Opinions episode, but because of the fact I've already got an episode coming out from Nostalgic Opinions, that's a special, it's 1 month anniversary special of the channel's first video, we decided to instead make a On the Light Side video. After all, this channel, this series is mostly basically a Nostalgic Opinions extra. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. To be honest, my channel does have an intro similar to that of Maz Gaming UK's, and actually, to be honest, it's kind of fairly similar. You could even say it's almost the same when you hear this is Mark from Maz Gaming and hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios. Those are almost the same, just almost. And then you've got the ones which are edited, the ones which we have yet to reach, but hey, it's our channel. We could work at our own pace, we don't have to rush. And to be honest, there's Pixels Limited. Yeah, we talk about that channel. One of the best channels you could ever come across. Has a intro you could call similar to that of the Sonic the Hedgehog on iOS and Android intro, just without the iconic music and more of the announcement of the actual thing. And then there is the other ones. Don't know why I said that, but there's Sammy Classic Sonic Fan. It kind of is very easy to remember, but kind of sends you down a path of hell even more worse than checking out this channel. And in case you're wondering, this channel is not at all related to retro gaming. Some Classic Sonic Fans, however, is also the same, just more annoying and more pro Nintendo. This channel will not really be like that, but we are going off topic, so. And then there's also the ones which are kind of very good. There are some which are good, sorry, in case you thought I was saying aren't good. Sorry again. There's the Synth Spacey's intro, which you could call somewhat similar to that you would find on TV. Then there's the one which almost became something years where it would be like, no fear, Flamefam Studios. That was actually something I made up, but Hey, at least I did not start off this channel right now. Otherwise you'll be facing off against someone who is even more annoying than I was back then. Yeah, you know. Disgusting. And that's the end of the video for now. If you want, you could subscribe. It's not a recommendation. It's not something you should do to make sure you manage to escape from the waves of North Korea. But here's a recommendation. From your pal / enemy / rivals / just your normal kid in Glasgow, you could leave a like, or if you thought I should have covered yours, as I bet I hardly even know yours, you can leave a dislike and say about it in the comments. Here is the question of the day, and if you're looking for that, here's a refund that I've recorded. You should check out the other video, but question of the day. Why do you think I have a dairy milk advert calendar? Do your best guess. Here's a clue. I'll finish off from that. This is Liam from Flamefam Studios. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to 1 month anniversary of the NES NOS titles. Now we'll be covering the Super Nintendo NOS titles. Why do you have to let me review this, and why is that music going on? Hey, it's the first time you could let me be peaceful with you. This is not editing, but there. Now let's cover the Japanese NOS titles before I move on to the American ones. Wasn't able to manage to see what the European ones were like because Wikipedia didn't say about it. So without further ado, let's say about Super Mario World. That's actually where the music came from, and it is an alright game. It hasn't really that much special or anything, but like, it's probably a very good Mario game, to be honest. It had some very good music, and I loved how the gameplay was. Next we have F-Zero. It's mostly just a racing game where space. Right, have you ever played Wipeout? F-Zero is basically that, just less 3D. It is, I know later on it was made by Sega, but that would only be alright. And now we go right on to the ones from North America. There's Pilot Wings, don't you know? Don't know how that got there, but okay, it's basically right. If you ever played Star Fox, the original, then you'll know that Pilot Wings also had the Mod 7 graphics chip, which basically was, I would say, a way of cheating. But yeah, it was their console, but they just screwed. But to be honest, I never played it. Never even heard of it at all, so yeah. Now next is surprising one. Again, blame Wikipedia if I got this wrong. It's SimCity. Why? Why is SimCity on a Super Nintendo? And on stay. Just what the actual fuck would they think about from when they, like, just why would they? This is one of the most craziest things you could do. Like, at first I thought it was only like for Microsoft Windows, the original one, but no, it wasn't. It was, they released it for Super Nintendo. Again, if I'm wrong, just blame Wikipedia. Next, Gradius 3. Never played it. I'm probably guessing it's like an RPG game, but don't really much know. And it is, I would say it would be alright. Like, after all, we're talking about North America here, not talking about Europe. And in case you're wondering about why I'm kind of slow from talking and like me being upbeat all of the time, well, I'm tired. But best not to go on about my day from me, could say from Twitter or Google Plus. Oh my fucking god. Just to say this, there's another episode coming tomorrow, but it's not gonna be about Super Nintendo, more about the Mega Drive, and it'll probably be more your type of style. Maybe. Just maybe. And that is the end of the video. If you want, you could subscribe, but no, that's not the end of it here, because we still have yet to talk about the Super Nintendo itself. It's not an anniversary of the Super Nintendo actually, it's more about for the channel, but my opinions on it, I actually do not like the Super Nintendo. It's just because many people say it's better than the Mega Drive, and I disagree with that. Like, if you think that's better, good on you, you're disagreeing with me. You could go around doing your own thing. You don't need people to tell you what to do and do what to like. But Super Nintendo is not my type of console, and with the card, which is the only time I'm using it for this episode, one slap. Just one. That's being fair. And that's the end of the video actually. If you want, you could subscribe. It's not something you should always do for every single channel that tells you to, but it's a recommendation from your trusted friend/rival Liam. If you want, you could leave a like, or if you thought I missed out some, or if you like the Super Nintendo, leave a dislike and say about it in the comments. And here's the question of the day that I've already said about from the On the Light Side video. You could go check that out. It's Liam from Flame Farm Studios, and we shall end it on the Super Nintendo's most famous music. Hello, this is Liam from Flame Farm Studios, and can you hear that? Bit too loud, but don't worry about that. Don't want you to get distracted. We're going to be reviewing the Mega Drive launch titles. Some of these, you remember, last month. And here we go. Starting off, we have Super Harrier 2. I would imagine it'll probably be like some space sci-fi type of game, probably like an arcade like type, which was mostly the thing Sega was into doing, like they were experienced at that, and I'd probably imagine that would be it. But as you can see, we don't have all of the launch titles. I've tried to find the best I could, but don't worry if I missed out some, it's my fault. Blame it on the 13-year-old who likes to be called bastard all the time. And so next we have something I would say is similar to Luigi's Mansion, Ghouls and Ghosts. Now maybe it's something like some sort of side-scrolling adventure, I don't know. As you can see, most of those were, I would imagine, side-scrolling games, but like, sorry if my voice went a bit quiet there, it's just because woke up early again, but like, Also, I stayed up late, so yeah, it's kind of my fault. Next, something this is way more of an arcade than the actual arcades that were ported over. Golden Axe. Yeah, if you could see, as you can see, there are a lot of those, and then I haven't played the first Golden Axe. I did play Golden Axe 2 and Adventure 3, but no, wasn't really that much interested in arcade games. Like I do also own Outrun 2 for the PSP. Wasn't that much a big fan of it. And next, Super Thunder Blade. Probably like one of those plain shoot 'em ups that are based off sci-fi. You'll probably see a lot of those from when you look through the Mega Drive library, but I haven't really played that, to be honest. But I did play a lot of the Mega Drive games, but I'm not saying that I've played all of them, cause to be honest, I don't really have a Mega Drive. Closest thing is the Art Games Genesis, which is utter shit, and yeah, you could probably see how badly that went. Next, the Revenge of Shinobi, carrying on from the hit on the Master System, with which also later included Alex Kidd. Back then was Sega's mascot, but as if you're wondering what Shinobi is, it's like you're at an enter, you're throwing those spinny thingies called, I like to call them fidget spinners with sharp edges. Or probably the nunchucks, I don't know, but it is not a nunchuck. That's one thing I could say for sure. And coming up next, we have the game which was packed in before Sonic the Hedgehog even came around. Altered Beast. Again, it's an arcade-like game where you... but the screen keeps on going and it's based off Greek mythology. I've played a lot, but it was not really that much my liking, and I only got as far as the second level. But hey, it's an arcade game. Arcade games are supposed to make you waste your money unless if you bring them at home. Doesn't that work? Yeah, I know you didn't answer that. And that's the end of the episode. Sorry for my continuous pauses. Don't worry, I could at least be able to watch over and then slap myself on the ass the number of times I stopped. But if you want, you could subscribe. It's not something you should do to free your Mega Drive from the the TV, from the haunted TV store beside Sainsbury's. Or probably saving your house from the taxpayer who steals people's houses. You can leave a like, or if you want to leave your TV behind bars, leave a dislike and say about it in the comments. And here's the question of the day. Super Nintendo or Stupid Nintendo or the Sega Mega Drive? Its Majesty, the Sega Mega Drive, this millionth. This is Liam for Flamefan Studios. I wish you a very good week ahead, and it's basically the last week till Christmas, till December, sorry, and this is goodbye for now. Hope you have a good week. So see you tomorrow. Except I won't see you, I'll only manage to see you from the screen. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefan Studios, and cast your mind back to 1992, also known as the early 90s, in which we are still in for this series. We mustn't move out, don't worry. We might go back further, we might just go forward. But let's just get on with it. The Sega Mega Drive was already doing well, especially with the release of the Mega CD, which had a lot of great games going for it, and despite the fact that it had a few games which were debatable, I would have covered that, it managed to leave behind Nintendo, the former leader of the console market, in the dust, with only its stupid Nintendo. But they weren't ready to give up. They decided to try to release a CD add-on, working with the company which helped to release the sound chip, Sony. You could probably guess where I'm going with this. The project, which as it was back then and only managed to reach as far as that, despite the fact that it was announced, was very much well anticipated. The goal tried to release a SNES add-on with CD compatibility. That would, if it were to succeed, it would leave Sega right behind and possibly just send them towards utter hell, as they did. But it wasn't really that much great. Aside from my lack of choice word, they tried this, and I only managed to find out about that I was supposed to release one today. But here it is again. And the problems with the CD add-on was that Nintendo were already planning a CD add-on with Philips, which were not really Sony's rival, but still a huge one. Kind of not like when you compare Sega and its fan base now. And before I know it, Sony realizes, but they still go ahead with the project. But they realize too late when they end up announcing the CD add-on, only for one day later, Nintendo announces their partnership with Philips. This left Sony possibly Hiroshima level. And they decided to end up with... Hello, this is Liam from Flamefam Studios, and welcome to Nostalgic Opinions. We will be reviewing my PS2 library. Right there. The Total Tower. And I don't think we could fit this all in one episode. So, we will be doing it into multiple different sections, just depending on how far we've got. So, without further ado, let's do the first one that we get from this. Yeah, you can probably see what you'll already know what this is, so I don't really need to explain it. It's actually a pretty good game, don't you know? Next, Ghost Hunter. It's a horror game that they say will scare you to death, but apparently I like how that monster is, and to be honest, I don't know what that is. It looks a lot like it was what a Disney character would look like after being left in a bunker for 20 years, and yet being given no help at all. But I don't really like this game, to be honest. It doesn't really live up to its genre. And it's another game gone. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. They say it's the most dramatic swordplay ever, when actually you're just... Like, to be honest, the graphics on this look pretty nice. And I would have to let this I would have to let this go with Mark saying not sucky. What the fuck? Even more shit. Time Crisis 2, an arcade game that was from Sony obviously, and it's actually a pretty good game. I managed to get pretty far in it, and I like how it is like, and for some reason this is part of a thing, but I will not go on that. And I like how the motor is. It doesn't matter how steady your trigger finger is, just how fast you could use it. Pure classic, especially about the fact that you had to keep your hands on the control at all times. Not sucky. Good. And next we have a classic Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Part of the Metal Gear Solid series. It's mostly where you'll probably know how it goes, like you sneak around killing people and in hope of managing to beat the boss at the end of the stage, but I don't really know how it goes because I haven't played it in a long time. I am happy that Snake's being brought back into Smash Ultimate, which is a good thing for me, especially about the fact that I've had to use Rob for Smash 4, which I still prefer to use. Jumanji. Not based on the movie, it's more based off the board game. Except it doesn't have all the dangers, which is a shame. Next we're going to review 2, because they're literally just the same game. It's taken a while, but Crazy Taxi and The Simpsons Hit and Run. Then you'll realize, why the fuck is that similar? That's because Hit and Run is a good game, but it's not what we're looking for. Simpsons Road Rage. No debate there. But like, Road Rage is a pretty good game for if you want to play with other people and you have your PS2. Crazy Taxi is a bit better, but I would prefer to play on the Dreamcast. You know, the console was already released on it. I think it was a launch title. I think. But wait. I do have the PSP version, Crazy Taxi Fair Wars, which also has Crazy Taxi 2. But to be honest, I was a big fan of Crazy Taxi. I wouldn't say, I would say this, it's not sucky, just alright for me. Sucky. This is something I used to play all the time, but not really that much into it. So, you know. And then you realize there's another one. I found a time for Windows. ELSPA. Why can't they just go with ESRB? You know, the ones I tried to pronounce got correct, but you know. Gran Turismo 4. Doesn't much work anymore. I'm not going to do that, you know how I feel about that. Starsky and Hutch is a game that you would probably say is alright. Many people consider it fun, but not that much big fan of it. I've got about like 5 games left, and then I would have to end it for a while. Operation Winback. It's a game that's mostly like you shoot bad guys, and explode helicopters. Don't know how it is, and then you realize, what the fuck is this doing in my collection? This is one of the rarest PS2 games you could find. Goes for around £60 or 90, don't really know. And you know how it goes, like, well, it's mostly just a Marvel vs. Capcom game. It is a very fun game. It's way better than the Dreamcast version because the DualShock is way more better for using. And next, this is another classic, one which I grew up with Network Play, Tony Hawk's Underground. I do remember this game. I've bet it once, but never was really that much interested, to be honest. I still remember I was like, thought those motion controls, and yeah, I didn't have the iToy. Man, those were legendary times. Best not to get right into that. Parappa the Rapper is a game that is one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. Sucks. My opinion. And next we have Rogue Agent. It's GoldenEye Rogue Agent. Somehow related to the N64 version despite not being made by the original makers, Rare. It is a game where you it's perfect for if you want to play with friends, but there's a story mode that I was into. Did suck at it. Was boss at multiplayer, though. You fucking idiot. This is a hated game for me. Maybe wondering why is there still a bunch of those. Well, we're running out of space. Best to stop it for now. At least we could call this part 1. And there would be a good first part, hopefully. Last time it was horrible. The last video was horrible, sorry. And that's literally it. If you want, you can subscribe. It's not a recommendation. And I keep saying not a recommendation. It is a recommendation. Pardon me. You can leave a like, or you can leave a dislike if you think that it's extremely crap, the quality, and it should be on longer. Which it will. Don't worry. You can leave a reply, and here's my question of the day. What's your most favourite PS2 game of all time? Liam from Flamefarm Studios, signing off, goodbye for now. Hello, this is Liam from Flamefarm Studios, and welcome to Nostalgic Opinions. This is going to be the last episode before the 25 Mishaps of Christmas special, where we'll be doing a video every day until Christmas, and before ending off with what the new equipment we've got. For further ado, let's get right into it because we don't want to waste time. Finding Nemo. Hated the movie, hate the game. Never played it that much. This I was not a much big fan of, but I did still play it a lot. I did not complete it, but I did get very far. Mostly of cheats, obviously. This I hated. And sorry for the quickness, but I have to. Last time we only got for us less than half. Jaw Choir is a pretty good game, and something which is pretty much fun if you're into cars. Whereas I bet you aren't. To be honest, I don't really get why this was a thing. You don't want to look at that. Probably even more creepier than the actual movie monsters themselves. This, it was alright. I wasn't really that much a big fan of it, to be honest. And then here's something you would call a classic. Red Dead Revolver. Sorry. It is, but I wouldn't really call it good. About 6, alright. Crap. Didn't play much. Goddamn horrible. Especially about the fact he just refers to you as player 1, despite the fact that you get to have your own name. Tensure, this is a classic, I love it. And yeah, this is not sucky. Scooby-Doo Unmasked, I wasn't that much big fan of Scooby-Doo, and I still aren't. Still basically the same. Tony Hawk's Proving Ground, that was a game from 2007, but I wasn't that much big fan of it because, hey, this did not have the same appeal. Though the putting equipment in the maps is pretty good. They got rid of the creator level feature, which was a huge thing for the other games. Still fucking Scooby-Doo. This is alright. I wasn't that much big fan of Crash Bandicoot, but okay. I haven't really played it that much because for some reason it doesn't work well. Horse riding. Fucking horse riding. And this is another game I played from the beginning. Metal Slug 3. So originally for the Neo Geo, but it's just alright. Center Court tennis game. Join the Chocolate Factory. Project Zero. Fucking idiots. You could just go, Simona! Don't worry, she's an idiot. To be honest, he is very annoying. That's right. The Warriors. Didn't much like. In case you're wondering, Simona has kind of made a name for herself. As annoying. Shrek, fucking Shrek. Never played it much, never will. True Crime. Horror was pretty good. Stuntman has just an alright game. Not much big fan of the the newer one, but I would like to try the PlayStation the Xbox 360 version. I heard about that. Monster Hunter. This was something I never played much. Yes, you heard that correct. Fucking horrible game still. Hot Wheels beat that. That was pretty good. Kind of. This would be worth nothing nowadays because there are also other variants. The only other variants I came across was the Rangers and Celtic versions. This is club football, so but like it was kind of a dumb idea just to introduce different versions, just depending on the team that you supported. But I like of how it's themed like it, but it's not the official video game, to be honest. Right then, and that was probably the reason why they did not introduce a sequel. Masters of the Universe, He-Man, Defender of Grayskull. I wasn't that much big fan, never much watched the series, never even liked He-Man other than a meme. I've got a pang of giving this game the shit feeling. SeaWorld. Hello? This is Neil from Flame Studios and welcome to our first game review. I know this is something that many other channels related to this haven't done, so I decided to take into my own hands to review the horrible thing that is the At Games Genesis. This is horrible, you know. This is a thing that we had to stick with for handhelds. Sega Genesis playing on the Mega Drive. If, like me, you are in the UK. It's horrible, but we gotta play it. And I know this isn't naive, I know that, but I had to do it. It's just gonna be seeing how it goes. So the dangers of the At Games Genesis about the many horrible stuff with it. Please don't mind that, that's just something needed for the scenery. Okay. Now you might notice the sound is kind of bad. It's necessary for all the Sega At Games Genesis models because of how Sega is. And just to be honest, there are some tracks which I do prefer on the Sega Genesis, but to be honest, if you are one of the many people who played the Sega Genesis, you know, the actual thing, you would know that those probably sound better on the actual thing. Sorry I'm being so quiet, it's just that I had to. You know, didn't really plan for this, but thought this would be a pretty good start, especially with how, you know, I've planned for this to be for 2019, sorry for it being so low, but I was kind of mostly distracted, and yeah. Hopefully this will be a lot more better, but hey, because of the fact that I'm kind of bored of doing this, let's play something you'll definitely not want to play on your actual Sega Genesis, or on your Master System. They tried to continue with this and I feel sorry for them, but it's horrible. I couldn't want to play Axe Kid on a Sega Genesis. And see, I already just died there behind a tree. That'll make use for easy burying. Oh, fucking god. No. Fuck. Horrible game Axe Kid is, especially when you talk about something which was supposed to be 16-bit, not 8-bit. Horrible. No combat. You know, one of the main games that started the entire thing. Okay, let me try to do the code. Don't really know much. Let me see. Oh my fucking god. So you can see, like, more combat I'm not really that much good at. Hell's kind of useless, so let's just stick to little flat friends, Sonic, not like stupid modern Sonic or Boom style Sonic. Okay. get my pants. Fuck. Like, I am usually not this bad at Sonic. Like, I did manage to beat Sonic 1, 2, and Knuckles. All with cheats, obviously, because, hey, I'm being honest with you, don't be mad at me when actually I could have just lied there. Said I did it all legitimately. Don't be like the idiots who are like, hey, guess what, I bet this game and yeah, I required no help, despite the fact that they ended up using cheat codes and yet you saw them. It's always a horrible feeling. Always. Alright, we're going to possibly try to beat Emerald Hill Zone. Then I think we'll see how Sonic 1 is like. And that'll possibly be the end of the review. Then possibly I think I'll try just level 1. I'm only good at that. Alright, to be honest, take back what I just said. This is lies coming in. I'm also good at all the other levels from Sonic 1. Yes, to be honest, that is kind of a lie. I'm able to beat Sonic 1, Green Hill Zone, Act 1 in under 30 seconds. But like, I can't really be bothered to do that after all. This is a review, not goddamn playthrough.